Well, hello everybody. How y'all doing today? I hope you're having a pretty good day. Mine's about to get real interesting here in a minute. I'm out here today. Had a wild day yesterday. Taking a day off, do a little bit of R&R. I'm at a friend's place called Sport Outfitters. Davis family, they have some cabins, that they rent, trail riders, that sort of thing. They come down and hit the Hatfield-McCoy trails or historic sites, or just want to see some real West Virginia wildness, that whole wild and wonderful thing. But I'm not going to be staying in the cabins. See, Jeff, he also has, I think it's about 500 acres of really wild woods, that you can also trail ride on, by the way, and it connects to the Hatfield-McCoy trails. Just saying. Anyway, I'm not really here for the cabins, to be honest. I'm not, they're pretty and all that, and I've been in them. They look really good too. Every one of them looks good. But I'm not here for the cabins. I'm here for the 500 acres of woods. And I guess anybody, knew me probably suspected that without me saying that. But anyhow, nice little place. I brought the bubble tent, and I'm gonna go back in there and pick me out a spot somewhere back in the woods and clear me off a little place and set me up a little house. Look at that. Is that not pretty? Just leaves blowing all over. Looks like snow, but with leaves. Picked me out a spot and got my site prepped. Brought the weed eater. I knew I was going to have to clean up something, so I got me a spot all prepped and cleaned up. And I guess I need to snatch my tent out and get him set up. It's a little bit wet here, but I'm on high ground, and I've got a whole bunch of standing dead trees. One there, one there, one there. So should have all kinds of firewood, and it's right at camp. Don't have to go anywhere. Right there. Can't beat that. All right, let's get the tent out, and she goes right there. Great big bubble dome. That sounds pretty good. Now that looks interesting now, don't it? What y'all think about my little soap bubble in the woods? Kind of windy today. Actually very windy. I'm just in a sheltered spot. You can really hear it howling up on the hilltops. Very windy day. Very pretty though. Very pretty. But anyway, give you all the tour. Of course, here's my parking, my parking area. Got all kinds of space. Got me a little firewood ready, and of course I got a couple little Duraflame logs, so should have plenty fire, but I don't want to light anything until later. Kind of windy. Don't want to really get into that just yet, but yeah, we're set up in here. Got my heater all in place, bed all ready to go. And check out that view. That is what I call a room with a view. Look at that. Not bad at all, is it? And comfy little spot. Watch some TV, cook some dinner. Speaking of, I need to get my chicken out. I'm gonna make some chicken and dumplings, and I need to get my chicken out and get it thawing. Left it frozen and keep everything else cool. That was my ice pack with 2 frozen leg and thighs. But it works. It works. Should be plenty cool enough later. I mean, it's supposed to be like 34 degrees tonight. So yeah, it should be real nice inside here though. Got the heater, it's all set up. A little bit of extra diesel fuel just in case I need it. But you run the exhaust outside, and you can see the little muffler out there. And yeah, that's all there is to it. I camped here twice before. There's an old coal mine right up here, and I'll probably walk up there in a little while. I've still got a little bit of time. What time is it now anyway? Yeah, 1:56. So I got what, 3.5 hours or so until dark. So the sun's going to drop behind that mountain pretty soon. I'm kind of down in a valley here, so the sun's going to drop behind the mountain, and it's going to be sunset here pretty soon, but it probably won't get dark, real dark until a little bit later. So I've got some time, I guess. We'll go up here in a minute and check out the coal mine, look around a little bit, do a little bit of exploring. You know how it is. You can't really go to a place like this and not do a little bit of exploring, right? Well, I got the rest of my firewood cut, and we should be ready there. Got my chicken out thawing. Got it laid on the table there, thawing out. That's cool. You can just look right through the tent. Yeah, chicken's right there, thawing out on the table. That's wild. Cleared. I love the tent, though. I really do. I like it. Just got to be careful with the zippers. Fair warning if you get one. But I figured since we got a little bit of time to kill, figured I'd go for a little walk in the woods. They look all nice and pretty right now. Of course, once it gets good and dark and gets pitch black out there, back in the deep dark woods, don't look quite as pretty now, does it? Of course, I have cell service here. Well, I have one bar. All kinds of squirrels. There goes a couple on that tree right there. Very pretty out, isn't it? Very woodsy. The coal mine I mentioned is right over there. You can see the opening. That was where you went underground. I mean, could you imagine coming up here back in the woods, and then you probably went up here on a horse, most likely. Or, well, old vehicles. A little ground squirrel. And then went back in that hole. And spent your day back in there. That looks wild. It's flooded. I think the guy that owned this told me that, Jeff told me that, I think he said it goes back like 5 miles underground, but it's flooded. That is wild looking, isn't it? Old coal mine. Now, that's a gas line, in case anybody was curious. I've mentioned that in videos before. Usually if you'll have coal or oil, you'll usually have some natural gas in the area. A little creek bed. Look at that. Look at the leaves. The colors on the ground. It just really looks like fall on it. It really does. Sun's just a little tiny bit through the trees. It will soon be dark, and all this will be the creepiest thing you've ever seen. Check out that trail. That's a whole lot of up all at once. It's a lot of up. It's a steep angle, ain't it? Of course, side by side, that's a piece of cake. You just roll right on through it. Anyway, I was just walking along and I was thinking, you know, the plants and stuff here. I mean, this is old growth, you know, West Virginia woods. It's kind of hard to imagine there ain't some sort of, who knows, cure for something. Very pretty place. Looks like somebody might have a trail cam or something up here. If it is, I'll turn around. I won't. Yep, it's a blind. It's a hunting blind back there. I'll turn around and head back out. I don't want to, you know what I mean. Don't want to spoil nothing for somebody else, you know what I'm saying? Alright, let's head back down and go the other way. Cool looking blind though. A good spot. Way back in a little dark holler. Look at that. Where 3 mountains converge. One going up this way, one going that way. You can see the point right up through the middle of it. And then another mountain over here. And then this just tucked in a little corner. It'd be a great looking little camp spot, wouldn't it? That is a good looking little camp spot. Little creek going. No doubt. Alright, let's get out of this guy's hunting place. Check that trail out. Look at them rocks and ruts. That is not a beginner trail there, is it? 35s. You better bring your 35s, and yeah, bring your spare underwear too. Bring your A game to go up that one. You gotta, to walk it, you gotta bring your A game. Just to walk that one. That is super steep. Look at those rocks and ruts. Yeah, you need the right kind of toy for this. Almost back to camp. Right up here, right over that little rise. Sun's still hanging on. He's still hanging on. Of course, I've come back down a little bit too. Back there, it's gone. Back where I was, it's dark. Well, sunset. Yeah, that looks like that could have been a mine entrance too, maybe. Who knows? Looks like coal laying there. It's not far from the other one. Ground's a little bit smushy today. It rained last night and hasn't completely dried out yet. But man, it looks awful pretty, don't it? Look at that little road. Except for the big tank, that looks really pretty, don't it? I think it's a gas, it has to do with gas wells, that, you know, impurities, that sort of thing. It catches sediment, something along those lines in those tanks. Looks totally out of place there though, don't it? You know, like a snake in a punch bowl. It just don't look like it belongs there, does it? Heard something. Sounded bigger than a squirrel. Right up there somewhere. Probably a squirrel, but you know, sounded like a bear. And there's my little soap bubble. Still sitting there waiting on me. Man, that wind is really kicking up, ain't it? Look at that. Look at that. The leaves are going sideways. Look at that. It's like being in a little snow globe with a snow globe. You're inside the snow globe looking at that stuff. Yeah, on the outside. Why not? Why not? That was pretty cool. You can hear it howling up on the tops of the mountains, and every now and then one will come up this way. I'm pretty much seem to be pretty shielded from the wind over here. Hasn't really, had much of a problem with it. So yeah, so far so good. All right, let's go. Just about time to get dinner started. Go get some chicken on, and I'm kind of getting hungry. Well, I've got the chicken cooking. So far it's just the chicken. I don't have anything else in it. I got two good sized thighs. So I'll cook those a little while, then bone them and all that, tear it all up. I'm gonna make, old school grandma's chicken and dumplings, real butter and milk and, nothing crazy, and just make it all from scratch. So should be a really good dinner. It's already smelling good in here. Already. I was kind of worried that, it might, condensation, on the clear tint, but I've got that one cracked. So far it's doing really well. Not a least little bit of condensation. And I've got just a clear view of everything all the way around. Look at that. The sun is almost gone. It'll be setting any time now, and it's gonna, I can already feel the temperature drop. A few degrees, not dramatically, but I can tell a few degree temperature drop. So I guess here in a little while, once it gets dark, we'll, let's zip up the tent. Of course, I think as long as I'm cooking, I believe that would probably be plenty heat in here. But, a little bit later it gets cold. We'll fire up the diesel heater when we need it and have a little fire. I'm holding out on the fire until the sun goes down, till I'm sure the wind is, laid down for the day. I don't want, it's kind of leafy, and so, I got my little fire stand by the mud puddle, just in case if it tips over, it's going to tip over into mud and, wet mud. Can't hurt nothing. But I've got me a good little stash of wood. Well, it's not totally dark yet, but it's definitely dusk. Dark enough to have a little light on. So, yeah, that'll work. But remember I mentioned earlier I wanted to show you something. Remember the flashlight? The coolest flashlight that I have ever seen. It really is. It looks wicked too, doesn't it? But Trustfire sent me this, to show you guys. And y'all seen me using, their other ones. We've got two of those. But, yeah, they've been around forever. Those of you who, night watchmen, for example, would probably know who Trustfire is. Back in the day, I used to get their 18650 batteries to make little, chargers and things like that. But anyway, check this out. Hang on, wow, look at that. But it's also got insanely bright flashlight. Hang on, we're not done yet. It's also got red and blue, and you can switch it. It does like all kinds of different functions, with those. Even does like a police strobe. Here in a second. Hang on, let me get there. But it's also got UV. Hang on. Oh, wrong one. Oh, that's the laser. Has a laser too. Green laser. Check it out. But the laser off. Double click. And it's a UV light. Look at that. We'll play with this a little bit later. They say you can, look around and you can see little critters and stuff that you wouldn't normally see. So, yeah, I can see things lighting up over there. Very cool, though. Very cool. But anyway, like I said, it has a whole bunch of functions. It's got a magnet here, like stick on, your car, your hood, if you needed light. But it is really cool. I like it. There's a strobe too. Let me see how you get to that. Alright. Laser. There we go. That's the red. Blue. And there we go. Wow, that is really bright. That is really bright. I like the UV though. That's pretty cool. I like that. Of course, the laser. Let's see. There we go. That is really cool. But these last for a insanely long time. The other one, my other ones, I can take those. Like the mini here, I use it a lot too. You get 2-3 trips out of it. This one here actually has a, hang on. I remember how to use it. Yeah, there we go. Turn the laser on. I'll turn the laser on. See it right there pointing at the chest. And hit it again. And it'll tell you the distance. That's really cool, isn't it? That is nice. But I've used that for several different things. But the battery lasts, like I said, they last a really long time. 2-3 camping trips out of the little one. And the big one, I rarely even, rarely even need to charge the thing. But I just thought I would show that to y'all. That is really insanely cool, isn't it? A little bit of everything. UV, laser. That is cool. Thank you, Trustfire. Very much appreciate it. But yeah, I'll be using this a little bit later tonight. We'll go wander in the woods a little bit. And we'll go play with it. Try it out a little bit. Give me an excuse to go wander in the woods at night, won't it? But anyway, alright, back to cooking. Thought I'd show y'all the light. Thought it was really cool. Well, it's dark now. Very good and dark. But I've got my lights all set up and looking kind of cute, I do believe. Looks pretty cozy. But I got my chicken. It's pretty much done. I'm letting it cool so I can, debone it and, get that ready. From here, all I got to do is basically simmer it a few minutes to make the gravy and the dumplings. So, yeah, we're just waiting on it to cool a little bit and let the inside of my tent defog. Got a little bit of condensation on the roof. Nothing too awful. Yeah, a little bit. Hang on. Got a little bit. We got a little bit of condensation. Just enough to play with, I guess, right? But anyway, I figure while we let that cool down a little bit, I figure we go take us a little walk, a little late night walk in the spooky woods. Ooh, look at that. Spooky woods. That's pretty cool though. It looks really good out here. Got my little fire going. You can see a little bit of condensation on the top. Lights look pretty good, don't they? I like it. Hang on, let me back up a little bit. Looks like a UFO getting ready to take off or something, doesn't it? Hopefully it doesn't take off while we're gone, because I believe that might be bad. Alright, let's take us a little walk. late night walk in the dark. We won't go too awful far, just a little bit, just to say we did it. Hello, scary things. Where y'all at? A little trail looks totally different at night, doesn't it? Look nothing like it does during the day. Not so inviting, is it? Look at that. I don't even know if y'all can even see that. Just the spookiness thereof. Look at that. Should be able to see the tent really well. I can see it from here. Well, at least I should be able to find my way back pretty easy. I figure, you know, give it a few minutes just for the condensation to evaporate and chicken to cool. Some steep mountainside, straight up. Getting pretty cool now. Getting pretty chilly. I have to check when I get back, see what the temperature is now. Big old mud hole. Leaf covered mud hole tried to trick me. Uh-huh. What a drop. Big old drop off you wouldn't want to hit in the dark, huh? That might hurt just a little bit. Of course, we have our trusty little handy dandy Trustfire Mini X3 Pro with me, so it really is cool out though, isn't it? Oh, we'll have a discount code for you guys too, if any of you want to, you know, if any of you do want to get one. We have a link for you and a code too. That is really bright for such a little bitty light, isn't it? Not much bigger than a cigarette lighter. Look down through there. I mean, just a long ways. That's where I saw that hunting blind at up in there. That I think there was a camera too. I'm not sure. Couldn't really tell. I didn't want to get close enough to tell if there was one in it. There was a little box. Yeah, this is really cool. Be nice if it was snowy. Soon enough. Soon enough. A little firewood. I'm tired. You're hungry too. There's a whole bunch of firewood right there. Kind of curious to see what the tent looks like, you know, walk up on it. And hopefully the condensation's gone too. Look how thick. Super thick and dense and steep. Real West Virginia goodness right there. Deep, dark hollow. Little thing puts out a ton of light, don't it? And we're back. Just a quick little walk. Well, it looks like most of it's gone. A little bit. A tiny little bit here and there. Not too bad. Fire's doing good. Okay. So far so good. Yawning, ain't it? So far so good. Alright, let's get the chicken out and get it deboned and get ready to make some gravy. Okay, we've got the chicken ready. It's the chicken, obviously, you know, the broth. Cooked it down, a little bit of milk in there, and a little bit of real butter, not margarine. You know, you're making grandma's dumplings. You know, she wouldn't have used margarine. She would have used real butter. So we're using real butter. Now this here is 1 egg, about 5 tablespoons of flour, and just enough milk to mix it good. You want it thick, probably a little bit thicker than that actually, but that'll do. That'll do nicely. And you see I got a little bit of, just a little simmer. And what you do is you drop dumplings right into the boiling water. Simple as that. And when you're done doing this, dropping your dumplings, kind of hard to do one-handed, but when you're done dropping your dumplings, you just add a little bit of milk to your batter mix and pour that in there and thin it out and make your gravy. Alright, let me get off of here, finish mixing my stuff up, get the dumplings stirred properly so they don't stick together, and I'll be back in a minute. And here we go. Check that out. Fresh, homemade, straight off the stove, old school chicken and dumplings. Look at that dumpling. Look at that. Pure perfection, I tell you. Grandma would be proud. Here we go. Here we go. Yes, sir. That is incredibly delicious. That is exactly Grandma's chicken and dumplings. That is really good. Don't get carried away now. Oh yes, that is really good. You know, either I'm starving to death or that is incredibly delicious. But you know, it's old school recipe, right? A billion grandmas can't be wrong, can they? They're definitely not. You can barely taste just the slightest little hint of butter in there, and yeah, it's really incredibly delicious. Very good. I know I'm probably overselling it here, but it is really good. Interesting, huh? Interesting way to spend an evening. Pretty cool though. It's nice and warm in here. It's very cozy. It's pretty chilly outside. It's not cold, but it's pretty chilly. You know, you step out to throw a piece of wood on the fire or something like that. You know, you just about wish you had your hoodie on. But you know, in here it's, you know, it's climate controlled, you know, t-shirt weather, you know. I'm just sitting around in a t-shirt, you know. Very nice, very comfortable, very nice. This is super cozy. A little bit late on me. It's about 11:30. And, well, let me get a little more light on. There we go. Now it's about 11:30 now, but I noticed one thing. I will say one thing for sure. Camping in a clear tent, it totally brings the outdoors indoors. It really does. It feels like you're actually camping out in it. Very cool. Nice and warm in here though. I've got it on the lowest setting. I've noticed when you go out, open the door, it takes maybe 2 or 3 minutes is all it takes, and it's like all of the heat just gone, all of it. And you have to start all over again. But I got my bed ready, got my bed turned down, and got me a bunch of snacks and cookies and chips and cakes and, you know, all the essential bedtime snacks. I got some Whoppers and moon pies and cookies. Heather takes good care of me. Thank you, Heather. She fixed me up a nice little snack bag. But anyways, watched a couple movies already. Lost World and Ghostbusters Frozen Empire just went off. Just watched it. They're both pretty good. But yeah, it's really nice just hanging out by the fire and just sit here and watch the fire burn. And you know, it's cold. It's like 43, I think, out there right now, headed for about 34. So we may or may not get a little frost in the morning. We'll see. We'll find out, won't we? Either way, though, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. You can kind of see out through there. You can kind of see some trees. I can see them really good. It's the glare on the camera. Anyway, alright, let's kick back and relax and watch a little bit more TV and get ready to call it a night. Good morning. Well, it's about 7:30 and it is cold out there. It's about 34 degrees. And I can see a little patchy frost right there, and this whole side over here, back through there some too. This little patchy frost out there, here and there. But I turned my heater down to 1. I'm usually in my red insulated one. I usually set it on 1, you know, even like 20-degree weather, you know. And so I was thinking this vinyl one could probably do the same, you know, considering it is vinyl. No, I was in the bed. I mean, I could tell it was cold in the tent, you know, inside here. But where I was covered up, I didn't think that much about it, you know, so whatever. I just slept through it, and I get up and go to flip the blankets off. Man, it's cold in here. I had the heater on 1. And it is downright cold. So fine, okay, crank the heat up on 6. Grab my hoodie real quick, you know, just throw the hoodie on, run to the bushes, right? Morning run to the bushes. You know how it is. Step outside. I just thought it was cold in here. I was wrong. It's cold out there. Heck of a view though, isn't it? Heck of a view from inside your tent. You know, just all around you is outside. That is really cool though. See a little bit of frost on top of it. Well, it's not frost now. A little condensation up there. But I can definitely see frost outside. There's some on the windshield too. The UTV has frost on it. Very cool morning though. Very cool. A little adventure. You know, camping out in some cold weather. It'll soon be time for some real cold weather camping. We'll just call this one practice. Yeah. Getting warmed up for cold weather. Yeah. I am too. Y'all know me, man. If it snows, when it snows, you can bet your last dollar if I'm not dead or incapacitated or something critical going on. If I can, I will be out camping in it. I've done that the last couple years, which I've done it for, you know, since I was young. But then, you know, when we started doing this YouTube thing, started, you know, kind of getting back into it again. And I really do love it. I really do. Just sitting out in a tent in the wilderness, you know, and miles from anybody, and snow on the ground. And it's, you know, just so pretty. And you know nobody's going to bother you. You've got the entire forest all to your lonesome. It's all you. No other people's. Very relaxing. It's just very peaceful, you know. I like people. Just when you're camping, you want them over there somewhere. I like y'all. I love y'all. Love you right there. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'll do my coffee. There we go. Gots to have the coffee. The one critical thing that would totally derail the entire trip. All right, let's chill out a little bit, relax, kind of get woke up, and yeah, move on with our day from there. I'll see you guys in a few. Well, that helps on a cold winter morning. Well, not winter, but you know, 34 degrees, which is close enough. A couple degrees off. It must have got 32 at some point, at least patchy. You can still see frost on the leaves and stuff right here. Still frosty. But the sun's coming. It's not here yet, but it's thinking about it. But that's all right. It's like 70, I'm gonna say 72, 73 in the bubble. It's really nice in there. The heater, you know, turned up to daytime mode, you know. It's really nice. But I've been out here just kind of hanging out and playing with the fire and just watching things, you know, watching the world go by. Pretty good morning so far. But yeah, look at that. You can see frost over here on the ground, and on that stuff, the bag even has some. It must have got at least patchy 32. A little bit. But yeah, very nice little trip. Very much bubble tent brings the outdoors indoors, especially at night too, you know, when you're sitting in there and, you know, you just look out and it's just nothing but trees. It's pretty cool. It's wild though. It's it's unusual. It's not what you're used to. You know, you're used to being able to close your windows and junk, but I guess that's not the point of a bubble tent, is it? If it had walls and little windows, it wouldn't be a bubble tent anymore, would it? Oh well. I imagine once the sun gets up, the temperature will come up fairly quick, which it's on, I think, 50, something like that, 45, 50, somewhere in that ballpark today. So it's not going to be real warm anyway. But I'll let the sun get up just a little bit and warm things up before I start packing. Get rid of the frost and the dew and all that good stuff, and then start packing up. Alright, back to it. Playing with my fire. Here we go. The sun is finally up. I was thinking how much you dread that in the summertime, but in the winter you love it. So where you been anyway? I've been up for hours. I know where he's been. Been out drinking all night with Uranus. Did you catch that? I didn't even crack a grin when I said that. The frost is melting. You can see everywhere the sun touches. It's gone, but this is slightly shaded right there, so it's still frosty. That's all it needed, was just a little bit of sunshine. Came back in my little bubble to get some food, get some breakfast, and I thought I would share with you guys. You know how I like to, cook semi, whatever dinners. It might be, squirrel gravy and dumplings, or squirrel chicken. I did make squirrel gravy not long ago. Fried chicken, breaded pork chops, all kinds of stuff. But for breakfast this morning, I have a true culinary delicacy. Something worthy of our channel. Captain Crunch, Oops, All Berries cereal. This is not the regular Captain Crunch. This is the all berry cereal with none of the plain ones. So this is a real delicacy. Fancy breakfast. Y'all thought I was gonna do an omelet or something, right? Alright. Yeah, it's super warm in here. I'm down to my t-shirt in here. Yeah, it's really nice. 75-ish, something like that, somewhere in that ballpark. But I guess I'm gonna have a little breakfast and watch a little bit of TV. I got Netflix loaded up, and by then sun should be somewhat up, pretty much anyway. And I'll start, maybe gathering a few little tidbits of stuff here and there and get things loaded up. But for now, we're still soaking it up, right? Still enjoying it. You're enjoying all of this. And look at that sunrise. I turned my tent to put the sun at my back, but the problem is it puts the sun directly on the TV too. Yeah, one minor little fly in the ointment right there, huh? But we make do. We make do. And sacrifices, right? See y'all in a minute. Let's have some fancy breakfast. Well, it is officially 5 minutes until noon, or 5 minutes until pack-up time, if you want to word it that way. But so far it's trying to warm up. It's still pretty cold outside. It's 40s, something like that. It's supposed to be like 52, 55 today, but I'm not seeing it here anyway. Maybe in town. It's still pretty chilly outside. Too cool to go out without a hoodie at least. You need a hoodie. And the wind is starting to pick back up, if the sun's back out. It's starting to get a little bit gusty. Not right at the moment, but you hear, I've heard a few roars back up on the mountaintops on both sides. So yeah, it's getting there. It's getting there. But yeah, it's about time to shut everything down. Bon Jovi, I had Pandora playing, been chatting with Heather and got the drone out and flying around a little bit, you know, just having some fun, you know, just playing, weaving through the trees. And this is some treacherous stuff here to fly in. You can't see the little twigs, you know, you can't see them. So yeah, it's treacherous. Yeah. But we did good. We, you know, took off where we wanted to and went where we wanted and landed where we wanted. So I guess that's the main thing, ain't it? But anyway, yeah, it's about time. My fire's out. Dump it over in the mud puddle. Just dump the ashes just to be sure. You know, right there, it was kind of the whole point of putting it there. I can just tip it over right into the mud puddle. I know there's no fire getting away anywhere. But a lot of junk to tear down. When you're setting it up, it's not junk. When you're taking it down, it's junk. There's a message from Heather. Even, you know, I don't even have the Starlink hooked up. I have one bar. Or no, I do have it hooked up. I had it unhooked, but then hooked it back up for the TV. That's right. I'm using cell service. I can get text, like I said, but can't get movies or anything. So had to use the Starlink for that. But alright, I guess let's shut the heater down and start gathering little bits of stuff. There's another PM. Start gathering little bits of stuff and get ready to load up. Okay, replied to my messages, and it is officially time to shut down. Looks like my chocolate starting to get a little bit warm in the sun. It's warm in here, but it's 75-ish in here. Outside, I don't know if y'all can see the weeds moving, trees, the leaves. It's still 46, 48, somewhere in that ballpark out there. Looks really good. You know, it's kind of the last time I'll get to see it whole. Here anyway. I'm sure I'll use it somewhere else, but on this trip it's almost over with, isn't it? Alrighty, let's get to it. Well, looks like that does it. Everything packed up, loaded up, and ready to hit the road. Another adventure in hillbilly land in the books. It's a good one too. Looks nice though, looks cleaned up. You know, it was very weedy when I came here. The only trace left is a little bit of leftover firewood. Alright, let's get out of here, guys. Just before I head out, just want to say a great big thank you to Jeff and everybody at Sport Outfitters for the hospitality. You know, let me come up and crash out in your woods. But anyway, guys, until next time, till the next adventure, this is Leo, and we'll see you guys later. Leo out.